Ah, Brutal Legend. Good choice. So, what are the traits of Brutal Legend as a speedrunner? So, it's not overly long. Let's give it like 2 hours or so. Brutal Legend features a lot of melee combat, so slaying dudes fast is how you get through fast. This one is more of a mental challenge rather than dexterity one. I mean, all the stuff is easy enough to perform. As long as you are aware that you can do something, execution will come easily. So, the challenge here is to know that you can do this. You know, like in RTS. Be constantly aware of all the tools that you have at your disposal. And to make right judgment calls to use the right tool for a situation you are in. But don't get intimidated. It's not some ancient Greek philosophy. There isn't much of it and it should come in naturally just from playing the game over and over. Then there's driving. You will spend at least 1/3 of the run behind wheel. Not just your own car, but also other vehicles your army has in their arsenal. Most of the randomness you can overcome. AI manipulation are somewhat consistent and enemies have predictable behavior, but skirmishes are effectively random, like whether they will block you or how much they strafe you before they attack. I would say that the run is as consistent as you. The route is all natural, no major glitches or some nonsense where you need to stand in some bullshit magic pixel and whisper sweet nothings to it until you get a 15% roll that it clips you to some nowheresville. Other features are some low effort parts where you can hydrate yourself or whatever while you drive one-handed. The run is customizable. You collect some fire tributes and trade them for secrets of holy magic justice from Ozzy Osbourne, but you may buy whatever helps you go fast. The equipment you buy is only as good as your ability to make it work. And experience you get from speedrunning is all compatible with multiplayer. It will help you get comfortable with fundamentals. You know, basic combat, menuing and spending feints while in middle combat, getting to feel how your guys behave in combat, and minding the overheat. Even holy diving if you want to take it so far. Alright, enough introduction. Let's get into the point. Before you continue, I expect you to have completed this game casually. Couple times is nice to have. I'm about to show you secrets of brutal magic justice. I don't have time to teach you how to beat the game. If you are looking for a walkthrough, search for the speedrunning tutorial the other guy made. First, I want you to go into the options menu and set up couple of things. Number 1, Hi-Fi Sim. Light it up. I have no idea what it does. Legend says that it simulates 60 FPS on PC since Brutal Legend originally came out on console. I had a grandpa's computer so I didn't feel the difference. What it does is it allows you to skip cutscenes faster. Second thing, bind pause and cancel separately. It allows you to freely press button to close tutorial pop-up without worrying that you pause the game. Next thing, switch target. For now, just keep in mind that it's there. We'll get back to it once I start talking about sweep. You are the Axeman, and this is your axe. Your basic axe chain has 4 hits. The 4th hit gives your enemy heavy knockback. The common guys will get pushed out of range for the next combo, so if you want to smack them some more, cancel the 4th hit into the forward roll. And basically that's how you roll. If you are surrounded and you would like to burst down specific dude, utilize the lock-on feature. Get used to the lock-on feature. It is your best friend. It is essential. For instance, you need to hold the lock-on key to roll in the first place. You don't have to be locked on anyone to roll. The other neat use of locking on is when there is chaos and you cannot see where the enemy is, use the lock-on feature. Like this. Move to the side, press the lock-on, see if you are locked on, repeat. Back to being surrounded. I bet you would mash the attack button and try to steer your carcass from enemy to enemy with movement keys while still mashing. Careful with that. First of all, when you try to turn while attacking, you will get those neat attack to the side animations. They are not random. Whenever you try to move in direction that is at least 90 degrees to your current direction while attacking, the next hit in your 4-hit chain is replaced. You don't get to reset the chain with this. If you do it on the 4th hit, you will get these. Actually, the attack to the left on the 4th hit is pretty neat. It hits twice. But whatever you do, Watch out for the one that attacks the dudes behind you, either version. The common issue with that is that, let's say that you see a dude that is about to hit you. You would like to hit them out of it because it's a valid option. But if you do it by steering yourself towards him while still mashing, the result you get is this attack behind you animation, it has longer startup, and you will end up being the one that's getting hit out of it. The solution I would suggest is either block it, do a roll to dodge the other guy, or shock both dudes. Which brings us to the next subject. I'm about to talk about damage values for the first time. Long story short, there was a system where your axe hit deals 1 damage and all the damage values were relative to this. Until some magician opened the game files and text editor and it turns out that all the values we know should be multiplied by 25. I'm still gonna refer to the old system due to historical reason and strength of habit. Anyway, the first thing you need to understand about your basic guitar attack, that it is split into 2 parts. Given that the axe deals 1 damage, the shocker deals 0.6 damage on impact and applies electrocution that deals a little over 1 damage over time. That's almost 2 in total. But if you shock the same dude many times, the electrocution over time does not stack. You only refresh the duration. So 5 shocks in the row deals not almost 10, but little over 4. So shocking the same dude many times is the worst thing you can do DPS wise. And if you do it point blank, it makes me want to bite someone to death. So how to do it right? I call it sweep. The principle is simple. 1 shock per dude. You gotta spread the love equally. And this is where we talk more about locking on target and switching lock on target. Return to the options menu and take a look at the switch lock on target. On PC version of Brütal Legend there are 2 styles, keyboards and mouse. On keyboard you get to choose another set of directional keys to switch the target. Although it is possible to bind them to the same keys that you use for movement, I wouldn't recommend it. There might be implications including the grabber. I used to use mouse wheel for left and right, aka default settings. It did the job, but it limited me against further and closer dudes, not to mention having to deal with all the unreliableness of mouse wheel. I added the mouse thumb buttons for up-down. I had more options for targeting closer and further dudes, but I could feel that I still was prisoner of mouse wheel. Lately I tried mouse switching for the first time and I liked it very much. Sensitivity of this solution is way beyond reasonable boundaries, but I found it less taxing on my mind and I could switch targets to any dude by moving a mouse somewhere in their direction. But on keyboard settings I had more control in a way that it jumped by 1 dude per 1 key press. You know, no overshooting because I moved mouse too much. And I didn't accidentally switch target while 1v1ing a dude and it happened to me on mouse. Why I tell you all this? Because I want you to not make my mistake. Take your time early on your journey, check out both methods, see which one fits you and stick to it. Sweep in Brütal Legend is a major part of your fundamentals. But what about the other controllers? Sorry fella, you on your own. I have couple of console specific advices but that ain't one of them. Back to sweep. So, you lock on the dude, shock, switch target, shock, repeat until victory. Locking on is useful, but that's only half of it. You can also shock a dude of your choosing by pressing a button while holding a direction towards them. The very thing I forbid you for axe attack, you may legally use for guitar attacks. Works best if you are surrounded. You may combine these 2 methods. If you need to practice it, stay a while in the Temple of Resets. Nothing but sweeps. As long as you don't use Earthshakers, you will stay here forever. Too easy? Engage stage battle with Brütal Doom. Unload on them emo kids. And the emo queen is there to defend her subjects. Sweeping while avoiding her will sharpen your shift. For the record, I have nothing against the Doom. It just happens that there is more of them. And the emo kids give bad name to the entire faction. Anyway, as you noticed, your guitar overheats. It takes 11 shockers, 3 pyros, 3 earthshakers, or combination of these. If you overheat all the way, you will need to wait entire 4 seconds before it lets you use the guitar. If you almost overheat your guitar, you need to wait only for partial cooldown to use it. So, to avoid overheating while sweeping, use up to 10 shockers, axe the nearest dude with 1 or 2 combos, and back to shockers. So, if you overheat, you get this.
Ah, she's too hot. Gotta wait for her to cool down.
You can cancel it. I know, right? You can cancel this animation into block, which is easy and freezes you in place anyway, but at least you will block stuff. Or you can cancel it into a combat roll, which is hard. It does not nullify the heat on your guitar, it only lets you move again. Don't expect it to work every time. Not very useful to notice, since seeing Jack burning his fingers means you lost track of your guitar heat and it took you by surprise. But if you get comfortable enough with the game, maybe you will learn to react to it. It's a minor thing, so you can ignore it entirely for now. Besides sweeping, shockers have other uses, like it stuns common dudes, which implies guard breaking. When a dude is blocking your axe, open him up with 1 shockers and then do your axe combo. Don't bother with charge axe attack. While the dudes are stunned, they also won't attack you or your dudes. They also won't run away from you if you need to keep them in place. But any hit that gives them the hit stun will wake them up. You cannot stun massive guys, and you cannot always stun semi-massive guy. Not sure how this one works. Pyro. It does 2 damage to single guy. It deals less damage per hit than shockers, but more damage per second. So if there is one lone dude, he has more than 3 health remaining and he's too far for you to bother with running up to them, well, you could just chain the shockers, but at least let me tell you about this little combo. Shock pyro, pyro, shock pyro. It overheats your guitar, but it deals 8 damage slightly faster than shocker. We are talking about 0.4 seconds there. Pyro is unblockable, and it connects when you lock on them and they move out of range while you are charging. Meaning, when you see Avatar flying away and you are still locked onto them, give them one for the road. If you press the button while they are still in range, Pyro will hit them even if they are out of range by the time it comes out. Earthshaker. Did you notice how bad the game wants to teach you that you have this bad boy on your set list? It deals 1.2 damage, is unblockable and unstoppable. Almost. Use it when you are surrounded and you need space, or you need to protect your thunderhogs or girls. You could use it to do splash damage to some bunched up dudes, but you have better tools on you, let's say car weapons or face melter. You would have to hit 6 dudes or more to make it more valuable than sweep would be. One trick you can do with Earthshaker is to combo it with stun node, which, besides stunning them, nullifies all the knockback. Next up, dodging and blocking. You can perform a roll or block almost at all times, even while attacking. Like I mentioned earlier, you can use roll to dodge stuff or to compensate for the pushback from the 4th hit. In Brütal Legends, you don't get iframes while dodging. At least I'm convinced that you don't. You can block to reduce damage intake. Some would say that blocking is slow because it's the exact opposite of attacking. You know what else is slow, smartass? Dying! Blocking in Brütal Legend is pretty powerful. You will be surprised by how many stuff you can block, including swords, headbutts, shovels, spears, laser beams, loose hair, uncomfortable relationships, spoiled brats, rats eating you alive, Black metal. Death. Death sentence. Edgar Allan Poe's poetry. Drowning.
Deflected!
Fire. No, really. I've seen it with my own eyes and I still don't believe it. What you cannot block is, long story short, unblockable attacks the other avatars do, and hits that give you heavy knockback, including being hit with a car. If you need to practice for blocking, you could stay in the Temple of Resets, just play a game, or try this. Get through the spider lair without using your guitar. Do I need to remind you that we are playing Brütal Legend? Heavy Axe Swing. It deals 2 damage and is unblockable. It's situational. It's for a situation when you need to cool down your guitar and they are blocking. My point being that Heavy Axe Swing shouldn't be your first instinct when someone is blocking you. Remember that I recommended one shocker to open up common guys. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use it at all. After all, it's an unstoppable thing and will still come out if you are about to get hit. No wait, it can't be stopped. The heavy guitar attacks have priority over Heavy Axe Swing. You can expect them from Evil Rob Halford and the Emo Queen. But if you use Heavy Axe Swing against them, their normal attack won't stop you and will put you in an advantageous situation, if they won't dodge. I won't be covering all the deepness of Avatar 1v1s for now. In a speedrun only quarter of this matters, and I'll get to this when I'll talk about individual level strategies. Running Swing. It deals 2 damage and is unblockable. It's also situational. Oh, by the way, there's a sprint button in this game. Don't have to hold it. So, the running swing comes out much faster than Heavy Axe Swing, so it might be better idea to use this one over Heavy Axe Swing to guard break without guitar, even point blank. But watch out, because you knock your enemies out of range so you don't get to combo them. It's horizontal swing, so you get to hit multiple dudes standing next to each other. See if you can find opportunity to do a ring out. No, not here. It has a lot of active keyframes, which makes it useful for one setup. But do not use it just to deal damage to a dude you run towards. For that, there is a trick. Sprint stuffing. Sprint to a guy, tap the solo button to immediately stop yourself and then unleash your axe combo. Flash pot. On its own, it's not so hot. It pops dude up and deals less than 1 damage. It is necessary evil you have to go through to use its follow-ups. But there is one specific use of flash pot on its own. You see, in Brütal Legend having a high ground is not as advantageous as they say in the movies. Notice that when enemy is below you, as you advance forward to do an axe blow, you will push them with your body downhill, out of range for your axe. To counter that, use the flash pot, wait until they fall and your animation ends, and unleash your axe combo. As they are getting up, they are immune to knockback of your basic axe attacks. Grand Slam. Deals 2 damage, is unblockable, has horizontal radius, sends them flying. Pretty similar to the running swing, right? Pretty much. You can use it to break guard of common enemies, knock them out of the fight for a while, do a ring out, but don't use it on avatars. Safety not guaranteed, you may develop a bad habit. So, that's it? I don't know. Rest of the basic moves from your setlist are for premium users only, meaning you have to pay for them with fire tributes, aka divine hype. I'll cover them now, since I consider them part of the fundamentals. Roman Candle. I don't think it works as intended. Look at this guy. Have you seen him floating lately? Me neither. No. Roman Candle is meant for cars. Or massive dudes, given that you won't push them out of it with your axe combo. Roman Candle deals 3 damage over its duration. Stack multiple candles for maximum effect. You can cancel each candle into a roll to shorten the recovery. Alright, maybe it sometimes works. Fire Cord. Ah, fire! My great desire! It deals 3 damage over 10 seconds. That's how you increase your DPS against a single dude. Works best with high health target. But it's totally fine if you set fire to a dude and deal just enough damage so the fire will finish them off while you go do something else. You know, like in that cartoon where that guy is already dead. Set fire to everyone in vicinity is also a valid tactic. Combined with sweep, it will lead to massive distributed damage. Remember that vehicles don't catch fire. Power Slide! This is your guitar attack while sprinting. It deals 1.2 damage, just like Earthshaker. It also has different shape of effective range, and I'm pretty sure it's impossible to overheat your guitar with it, unlike Earthshaker. Coincidentally, Jack Black has the best power slide out of all avatars. It comes out the fastest and has the largest radius. Just like old splash damage, it works best with lots of low health dudes. In a speedrunnung, emo kids. But also in a speedrunnung you have other tools for that, such as car weapons and face melter. Rock Kick. I have no idea how much damage does it do, and I don't care. Maybe 1 damage. Rock Kick is not here for damage, but for the knockback and unblockableness. In a speedrun, there are no opportunities for a ring out with Rock Kick. But otherwise, this is your option when you suffer the slowdown from waifus and Grand Slam is too slow to connect. Remember to shout something about Sparta when you find an opportunity. Its unblockable abilities are more useful against avatars rather than common thugs. You can combo it into Pyro for some extra damage. Unlike Emo Queen or Black Slayer, Jack Black cannot cancel Rock Kick into a roll. Or can he? So, this is more of a trivia rather than something useful. Just a little dexterity challenge. Look at the input visualizer if you are interested. Don't try it against avatars though, you are at frame disadvantage when you do it. Grabber. It makes them come to you. It deals less than 1 damage, but it's not made for the damage. It also overheats your guitar quickly. For grabbers, it's what it takes to overheat you, and often you need 1 to 3 grabbers to grab someone. Again, having a high ground is an obstacle in this case. You can launch them with Pyro and then use a single grabber. If you grab them and try to hit them with your axe, they fly away from you. Use 1 shocker after they land for an OTG. So, why bother with buying this one? Dunno. Maybe you want to pull someone closer to your headbangers that are next to you. Maybe you want to pull the waifu in range for a face melter. Actually, Grabber is more useful during multiplayer against avatars. For instance, to start the air combo when you blow up the vehicle they were double teaming with. Maybe they are about to die, so you chip them out with Grabber, which is unblockable. Maybe you want to hold them in place as your dudes shoot at them. All that is to secure a kill. And in story mode, it's not gonna happen. Enemy avatars in single player are immortal. Shock Bomb. It's pretty solid when you know how to use it. So, here's how to use it. You get a dude airborne, you shock them, and let them fall. The blast deals 2 damage. And this is the situation Shock Bomb was made for. Bunched up dudes. When you see this, your first instinct should be Shock Bomb. In a speedrun, you don't get to see this much. Number 1 of getting them airborne is Pyro. You can also do it off Grabber. And from another Shock Bomb. Just launch a dude, shock them, switch target to whoever is next to them, wait for the blast, and shock them right away. Sadly, the first Shock Bomb knocks most of the dudes out of range, except for the dude you triggered the first Shock Bomb with. And maybe any massive guys that are there, but that's just a theory. Menuing. Well, clearly this solution was made for analog sticks. When you need to handle it with mouse, my advice for you is to do it in 1 swift motion. If you highlight the wrong thing, I would suggest leaving the menu, reopening it, and trying the swift motion again. If you try to move your mouse until the other option gets highlighted, you will sooner lose patience than select what you wanted. Use the idle parts of the run to practice highlighting different options. Flying. Press F to fly. Duh. Use flying to traverse the battlefield quickly, give your army orders from above, escape from death, or move quickly to smack a dude that's over there. What, you wanted to sprint all that way? Hell no, man! Flying is also to traverse short distances. Whenever you take off, you can see the camera jumping a little bit to put your character in the middle of a screen. After this jump, you can press F again to land. And after that, you can keep pressing F in specific rhythm to fly lower than minimal height. You could use it to aim your landing. Flying directly forward is faster than flying backward, air strafing, or in diagonals. Holy diving! Ah, my favorite thing. Holy diving means landing right next to a guy you want to smack with an axe. In a speedrun, it is nice to have, but in multiplayer, it is essential. It is the only reliable way to stop avatar harassment. You know, nothing is more discouraging than being hit with fire cord. Anyway, I didn't spend any amount of time practicing holy diving, but there are a couple spots in around that subtly taught me. Next to flying short distances to smack a dude that's over there, there are a couple places that you are seeing now. Whenever you go holy diving, remember to say the holy magic spell out loud. Well, whether you like it or not, you have a lot of driving. At least 1/3 of the run forces you to drive, be it your car or something from Ironhead Arsenal. Your car's turbo has 3 seconds on the cooldown. Mashing the turbo button the entire time is pointless. The sticky keys will probably send their regards. So, to drive fast, use the turbos on cooldown. Turboing while airborne does wonders. I'm not saying that it's always best to use it. What it does is it gives you instant boost in momentum without friction, and that's a wonder. You can use it just as you go airborne on the ramp to ensure that you hit the lightning plug jump. But turbo while standing still does the opposite of wonders. If you turbo while you are too slow, the turbo runs out immediately. If you reverse, the turbo boosts you backwards. If you slow down enough, you will end the boost early, so you can set yourself for a boost at the upcoming ramp. There are situations where it's better to just drive slow and steady than firing a turbo and crashing. For me, it's cleave of impaler reverse. From time to time, when you try to start driving, the car won't move for a second, as in your brakes are jammed or something. To prevent that, press the gas key a couple times as you start. It will start moving right away. That's not my discovery, but the inventor of this didn't cover this in his speedwalk tutorial, so yeah. There's a trick with getting off a car. Keep holding forward and get off. It catapults you forward. Hence the name, catapult. It works only on flat surfaces, including but not limited to the places you are seeing right now. The feeding area is the most difficult since you have no control over your camera. I'm not the best driver out there, so don't listen to me too much beyond that. All that I can tell you is to just drive. Just get to know your car, how it behaves, how it responds to your actions, and so on. And that's it for now. The speedrunning tutorial where I ended up spending no time on talking about speedrunning strategies. And I don't care. In my opinion, if you have no fundamentals, you can throw your any percent knowledge into trash. I expect you to get better and more comfortable at the game before you bother with the speedrunning bullshit. For now, have some more casual playthroughs, but this time keep the fundamentals in mind. The 3 major things I want from you right now are sweep, flying in combat, not shocking a guy more than once point blank. If you need the speedrunning strats right now, I suppose you can search the web for some runs, including my performance at ESA Winter 2019, where I give out some details you could use. I imagine this video was a lot to take in, so I would recommend returning here from time to time and listen the secrets of brutal magic justice again. And that's not even all of it. I didn't touch double teaming yet. and it is significant, even in a speedrun. So, stay tuned for the next episode.